Focus on the family. So let's go and read this letter from Focus on the Family. And I'm going to read the question. Deacon, matter of fact, I'm going to let you. Is it better? Can you read?
I can read it.
Yeah, read it.
I can read the question part. Let me make this a little bigger. Well, actually, let's leave it there for now. Okay, so the article starts with a question.
From somebody calling in or somebody writing a letter in, and they have a sincere. This is a good question.
It's a good question. Yeah, it sets up for the article.
Yeah, and we're going to give an answer too. So we're going to first go. We're trying to not be biased. We're going to just read this, maybe digress a little bit, but we want you to hear. But we do have to highlight some stuff so you guys can also see what we're talking about when it comes to private and public. It's very important. This is how they bully people, just like they did with the jab of 2020. I gotta use words like that because I don't want to get censored. Okay, but they bullied a lot of people to take the Muhammad Ali jab, right? they bully people in the NFL, people in schools. They bully them. You won't be able to work until you take Ali's jab. That's what they had to do. They bullied them. They made them feel bad for not taking the jab. They made them feel like they were wicked. So I want to show you how Christianity is doing it. And Focus on Family was so kind to put it right there on their website. We got this straight from their website, and we're going to start. Read.
All right, so it starts off with a question here. It says, why do Christians need a church wedding and a piece of paper from the state to make their marriage official? My girlfriend and I are both dedicated believers, and we intend to spend the rest of our lives together. We've been wondering why we should bother applying for a marriage license. Isn't marriage a private, personal covenant? And isn't the spiritual aspect of that covenant more important than anything else? If we move in together and start having sex, doesn't that make us married in the eyes of God?
You hear this. This is a good question.
It's a genuine question.
And he wants to know. And guess what, guys? I did the same thing. This guy, I wanted to do the right thing according to the word. And I called things like Focus on the Family. In this case, I called a local church. And they told me how to proceed. And I wanted to do it right. I knew about prenup. I knew about the prenup. I chose not to get a prenup. I chose not to get a will for the chance that we may be divorced. Because I was planning on being married to my first wife for life to the day I die. I had no intentions of divorcing her when I said yes. No intentions. And so I did what the Christian said. So I ended up getting married without a prenup. And if I knew better, I should have taken my mother's advice and not even get married, period. He said, just live with her. And I thought it was sin to have her move in Green Bay, to move in with me, because I thought it was sin. I even had a pastor that she found. He said, if you already messed around, it's okay. You don't have to. I'm thinking like, man, this guy's wicked. Maybe he wants something from my mom or something. And they were actually telling me the truth, but they didn't really break it down to me. They didn't tell me why this was wrong. Why was it okay biblically? It was just more because my mom didn't trust this woman I'm marrying. So there you have, guys. I made my mistake. You learn from the things you suffer. All right. So let's see how Focus on Family answered this young man's questions. It says you brought up an interesting point. Does the Bible give us ground for defining marriage in terms of anything other than the act of becoming one flesh? To put it another way, does the scripture recognize the validity of civil marriage contracts? And does the state have any business granting them? On one level, we would have to answer no. You see, look at, they tell you the truth. That is the truth. They have to say no. There is no verse in the Bible. This is from Focus on the Family. This is official, guys. There is no verse in the Bible that says, thou should not consider thyself married or engaged in sexual relations until thou holdest a piece of paper from the state authorities in thy hand. Are you guys hearing that? That is from Focus on the Family. But, you see that guy's word, but? There's a transition. That word is so powerful. I'm not talking about your ass. I'm not talking about your buttocks. We're talking about something that's about to transition from what he just said prior. So he said, no, the Ishia, stop right there. No, you don't need it. Then he goes in and says this, but there is another sense in which we can't deny the legitimacy of, where are we here? There's another sense of the legitimacies of the states. That's the state, California, Wisconsin, Tennessee, states' involvement in the business of marriage. Theologically speaking, marriage is not just a private or personal covenant. As we see it, there is distinctly communal. Now, we think in communal like how we live at Straightway. This is not the same. They're talking about communal with the public, not private. But let me keep going. Sorry, guys. Forgive me. Aspect of genuine marriage. Marriage involves a couple of public commitments to building a strong and lasting relationship. This is implied in their decision to leave their parents and cleave to one another. They use Genesis 2:24. By leaving and cleaving, they are actually initiating a new family unit as part of a larger community. Marriage, and the reason why it's highlighted is we're talking about public. You got to know. See, you think it's community. Oh, it's like us. Nope, that's public. Marriage then, and this includes sexual acts that results in becoming one flesh, is anything but purely private affair. So they're saying this is not a private affair. This is a public affair. It is absolutely true, of course, that the spiritual aspect of marriage is of a vital importance to the believer. But this does not mean that the matrimony, which is a legal term, look it up, matrimony is a legal term, is valid only for believers, or that it should be viewed only as an ordinance of the church. According to most theologians, marriage is part of the common grace that God has poured out on mankind for the good of the race as a whole. It is like the sunshine and the rain that falls upon the just and the unjust alike. Matthew chapter 5, verse 45.
That doesn't even make any sense.
I know this is not supposed to make sense. This is Christianity. It's abstract. This explains why even pagan and secular, please guys, listen to this. Pagan and secular society attach a special importance to marriage. Marriage is not a biblical term. Marriage is a legal term. I repeat, marriage is a legal term. You will not see marriage in the Bible. You won't see that. But they may translate it that way to make you think that, to get confused. But once again, I'm just calling this thing out, guys. I can't help it. I know so much more than what I'm going to share with you guys today, but I'm just trying to make this very simple because it's very complicated. Traditionally, all human cultures have sought to preserve the uniqueness of the marital relationship. They do this by surrounding it with certain legal, not lawful, legal. See, guys, if you could see me write this, you will see me underlining keywords. This is what I do when I'm signing a contract. I take the time and understand what the words are on the paper, because this is the type of stuff that we need to do. We need to slow down and know what we're signing, or know how to just get through things and not put yourself under perjury, sign under perjury. Anyway, let me keep going. Sorry for the digression. Surrounding it with certain legal sanctions, privileges, and protections. This is true of societies of every kind, and the state in all of the various forms: monarchies, oligarchies, dictatorships, socialist collectives, and democracy. Government have always that's a lie. Government has always had a vested interest in supporting, maintaining, and regulating marital relationship. George Washington did not have a marriage license. Abraham Lincoln did not have a marriage license. So I just want to make sure it's not always. But anyway, maybe they had an interest. But anyway, Romans chapter 13, verse 1 through 7. They use Romans 13, 1, 7 and says, implies that that this is according to God's design. We're going to go back and read Romans chapter 13, but let me get through this letter. According to God's design. For all these reasons, we suggest that unless it should for some reason become absolutely impossible to do so, meaning get a marriage license, believers should continue to marry in accordance with the regulations and requirements of the Bible, no, of the state. All of this begins with the important questions. Do you have some personal reason and questioning the validity of marriage license and the wedding ceremony? Now this is where they start gaslighting you, making you feel like what's the big deal? What's your problem? Why would you be asking this question? Maybe you're hiding from something. Okay, let me get it. Sorry. If you and your girlfriend are serious about spending the rest of your lives together, why not proclaim it? Proclaim your intentions to the world in an open ceremony. What is an open ceremony? Why not make it official with a piece of paper from the state? As we see it, these are just ways which couples goes public with their vows. Public, not private, public with their vows of a lifelong fidelity. This in turn is part of asking other people to hold them accountable. Do you have a problem with that? Is there some reason why you would prefer to be secretive? Okay, secretive about your commitment to one another? If you don't find this answer convincing, I do not find this answer convincing. Or if you need additional help understanding these concepts, I need additional help. And guess what I did? I pressed that button. I called us. Focus on the Family has staff of pastoral counselors who would love to speak with you over the phone. Man, I'm tempted to tell you guys, if you catch this, go to this article, press that call us, and you call them and you blow up their phone and you ask them, I'm having a hard time understanding this stuff. And then just listen and then throw in there about what the word says. Why would you tell me to get a marriage license that literally undermines the so-called institution of marriage? The very thing that you said that Yah instituted, and you're telling me to go get something that's going to undermine the very families, and you're supposed to be focused on the family. You're not focused on the family. You focus on the state. You're focused on the woman.